On this channel and others, we talked about what changed at the Walt Disney Company that got them into the position they're in today. Some say they blame Bob Chapek, others blame Bob Iger. Some say it's when John Lasseter was fired from the company. However, according to a recent expose from Film Threat, John Lasseter might have been the sacrificial lamb that was demanded by a company that wanted to declare its stand against the patriarchy. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. I'm Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place. While we like to think that the new CEO can come in and clean house, it might take years before we see real change at the Walt Disney Company. Case in point, Zack Snyder hasn't been employed by Warner Brothers for years, and we're just now seeing the end of the DC extended universe. We won't even see Deadpool 3 hit theaters until June of 2024, and that is one of the only projects we know of that was confirmed under Bob Chapek. Returning to John Lasseter, when he was brought up as a person that was physically too affectionate with his coworkers, he was given a 6-month leave of absence and then walked out the door forever. Instead of shocking employees of the company with this revelation, an employee stood up and asked in front of the crowd if she could choose the gender of the next person in charge. Let's get into it. This is where it gets to the match that was struck here. John Lasseter, the scapegoat. In 2017, something horrible came to light, even though there was kind of an open secret with the horrible person who looks a lot like, what's the guy from Tropic Thunder, Pro?
Oh, gosh. Give me some more.
Tom Cruise's character in Tropic Thunder.
Oh, Lex.
Lou Friedman. Lou something. And anyways, that guy is based off of this fella right here, founder of Miramax and other things. He did horrible things that people should rightly be arrested for and maybe never get out of jail for. But as the media environment grew, like lightning in a bottle, Lasseter fell victim to the effect named after him. Reports of his inappropriate behavior made their way to the public and the board. According to Hollywood Reporter's Kim Masters, a longtime Pixar employee said that Lasseter was known for grabbing, kissing, and making comments about physical attributes. That's awful. And if it's true, that's really awful. But like a wildfire, these rumors and innuendos spread quickly, causing many to question and consider their most recent interactions. With Lasseter, for example, Masters reported that he made an unwanted advance towards Toy Story 4 writer Rashida Jones. Though Masters immediately quotes Jones as refuting the claim, "We did not leave Pixar because of unwanted advances. That is untrue, but the damage was done." Now, false rumors were being planted in the minds of John Lasseter's detractors, and it didn't stop there. Anonymous reports of Lasseter's behavior continued to run in the mainstream press. According to Variety, Lasseter's exploits bloomed, stating he had a reputation for doing all kinds of inappropriate things. What a tragedy.
Well,
I'm not going to.
It's a complicated thing trying to figure these things out because, yes, there are men who absolutely take advantage of. Yes, correction on that. Les, not Lex. There are men who take advantage of their positions of power, and that's probably behaviorally the norm historically. And that said, there are men also who achieve great success, and success begets people who are resentful of the success. And that's the spirit of Cain, and then they attempt through their resentment to take them down. And what is psychologically, what is the way that women seek out aggression and promulgate that aggression against men? Well, it's through reputation assassination. And so both of those things are at play simultaneous. So do we know what of this is true? No. Do we know what of this is not true? No. One thing we do know, though, is we know that the value that this man delivers to the company is immense, and we also know that there's nothing rising to a criminality level that would cause him to leave the company. So we're in a realm of perceptions, right? And so the avoidance of perception, to me, this seems like what happened was far too grave, and I think you could have managed the perception issues, and like Lou was saying, you have very serious talks with the man, and perhaps, if necessary, some private mea culpas, but you find some way not to lose John Lasseter, if at all possible. Let me give you another example. This is an easy one for everybody out there. So let's say that you go back to the 90s and you really like watching the Chicago Bulls because you really like watching Michael Jordan. I enjoy using Michael Jordan as an example because it's so easy. Because if you were in the 90s, you remember everyone wants to be like Mike. Now, imagine that the Chicago Bulls had decided in the height of Jordan's success that they were going to get rid of him because he had a gambling issue. Now, it's true he did have a gambling issue, and he probably had several other issues. But the way to handle that is not to get rid of Jordan, if at all possible. The correct answer is to do everything in your power to help him rehabilitate the struggles he's having in his life and attempt to get him the help that he needs and identify him and respect the fact that he needs to improve. The same thing is true with John Lasseter. This is outside. The problem has an outsized solution from the Walt Disney Company, in my purview, unless there's something secret none of us know about whatsoever that they immediately had to sever ties with. But again, that gets you into a theoretical ground where you're imagining what could have caused them to do something stupid. And I think Disney has succeeded in accomplishing the fact that we no longer have to assume they know anything beyond what we know that causes them to do something stupid. Otherwise, I think the default is, no, it's Iger. He likes his showers and his hippos, and he does dumb things
Well,
to protect his legacy.
It's not even about dumb. It's, does he do what he does for the sake of the company's benefit or for his own ego's sake?
Right, narcissism.
Now, I will add to this. I watched the live stream in which Alan Ng and Chris Gore talked about that over on the Film Threat channel, and they will be continuing this. I think every Wednesday in January they'll be releasing a new segment of the D Files, which I don't know if they'll all be on Lasseter, but I personally am very invested in this, and we're going to continue to cover them here on That Park Place. But I have to say, go check out the article itself. I'm sure it's the front thing on the Film Threat website. A lot of people came after them for saying, well, you have unverified sources on this. And the defense that they put up, I thought was very apt. They said, well, guess what? The Hollywood Reporter article that's taking him down is also unverified sources. So are we going to destroy not just one man, but also two companies completely on unverified sources? But in order to bring him back, that same standard is not acceptable.
That was the thing, Jonas. As Pro mentioned, there are ways to have handled. You could have handled this. There are ways that you could have mitigated this and had him continue to work at the company. It was Iger himself who could have gone to bat and didn't. And I think it's very interesting how Film Threat is making a connection between Iger and Lasseter specifically on this, because that might have provided a reason or a motivation for why Iger didn't step into the fray and defend John Lasseter.
And it's not just unverified. Look at how they were attacked on their sources on the Wish animators, saying, well, can't you show us their pay stubs and their employee ID numbers and give up all your sources? Oh, no, Disney never asked us to ask you for that. Hell no, they didn't.
Right, exactly.
Well, now
journalism for thee, but not for me, is their attitude.
I will say it rings true. Not that needs to be our standard here, but I'm sure that if they are actually interacting with these people, when somebody identifies themselves to us, we have ways of verifying who they are without seeing their literal Disney pay stub.
And if we ever burn a source, which we have never done, but if we were to ever burn a source, you can bet that nobody else is going to talk to us.
Exactly.
So this request to Film Threat is ludicrous.
And that's been a tenet of journalism in general since day one. Look at the Pentagon Papers or any of the other things over the years, Watergate, Deep Throat.
And that's why, by the way, Lou, that the audit for my channel, for the WW Pro channel, why that audit is so important, because I thought about, well, you've got this anonymous person speaking out and you have anonymous sources. You know, why should anyone listen to us? Why should anyone listen to our channels? And what I came away with was, well, we need to have an audit. And at the end of the year, we demonstrate a track record. And I think that's what Film Threat can do over time as well.
And the reason that those people reached out is because of the reputation that Film Threat has developed over decades
of protecting people, just like we do. And like I am being protected here with this funny face on the screen. But let's say something else. If this was the only story, the only thing about Iger having this propensity for there shall be no other gods but me, it would be an isolated incident that we could believe or disbelieve.
Sure.
But it follows a pattern that we've seen in virtually everything he's done.
Yep.
Yes, and by the way, the links are in the chat here for the article itself. Now, there's one thing else I want to say on Film Threat before we move on to the last section here. Film Threat ran a column for years that was about the casting couch in Hollywood, And so I think they have a pretty good eye for who is doing a casting couch situation versus John Lasseter getting in a little bit over his head on the hugging and the being affectionate with people. I'm not saying that he should have crossed people's personal boundaries. He should have been man enough to know that, hey, you're working for a global mega corporation right here, and you're also saying some unpopular things on occasion. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If Disney brought John Lasseter back, if he would agree to come back, do you think that they would welcome him with open arms, or is the Disney company just so far gone that we need to just give up on the thought that they will ever change? You tell us, because we would love to know what you think. This clip was part of our now regular Thursday live stream, which starts at noon Eastern Time. Of course, if you're not in that time zone, just hit the notification bell if you want YouTube to tell you when that is. Like this video if you like this video. If you know somebody who is as interested as we are in this kind of thing, then maybe you should share the link with them. And of course, please consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.